Today I have my friends here who are going to help me discuss the topic. The topic we're going to be talking about is everything and anything relationship.
You know what? What are your credentials for you to tell me how I should go about this relationship?
But I think if you're going to post your life, like,
Exactly.
if you're going to continue to post, then you can't filter who's gonna
comment.
Why isn't it just a straight line story here?
Let's go deeper.
Right? Because I'm trying to
Be bold, just be bold.
be bold and say.
I agree that with you, and I the holistic thing and how it looks and looking into the future, if you want to say, but as well, and that's what I'm saying. If we did that talking period, whatever. Oh, now we decide that we're dating, blah blah blah. By that time, you should feel comfortable enough for you to disclose that information, because I'm not a monster, and I'm not gonna be like, oh, sorry, I don't deal with guys because I'm not gonna be doing that.
Because right now you guys are dating, you guys are going serious.
Yeah, I care for you at this time. You need to tell me
what
what
kind of
full disclosure.
Okay, so like listen, if we're talking, we're getting to know each other, we're talking and everything, and then after you be like, hey, do you want to be my girlfriend? In my head, like, if you're asking me to be my girlfriend, you best know we are going to get engaged. We are going to get married. I'm not going to start being like, yeah, be my boyfriend. And just be all kidding like that for a while. No, we're going for marriage. So you best know that when you're asking me to be your girlfriend, I want that full disclosure now. Like, so it better become... Now, if it's an addiction.
Okay.
If you have a criminal record. If... You
imagine we're getting pulled over together and like, sir.
Thank you, and sir, you
have a warrant.
Not even that.
Next thing you know, I lose my job because now no way.
Or you have probation, or you have this, so those kind of stuff tell me stuff where I'm not gonna be like shocked. Where I'm just gonna be like, oh, like what's going on? No.
So my question would be, should you have that kind of the conversation of what is full disclosure to you in the first stages of this budding relationship? That way I understand, like, okay, I'm talking to this girl that wants me to tell her everything, and she knows I don't really need to know much, but you can just tell me the names and stuff that I'm not comfortable with.
You know what? I think it will go naturally. I think it'll be because like just on the first date, you know what? Because I'll be asking questions. So if you're kind of segueing, I'm like, okay, you're not ready for it yet.
But if you don't have that conversation, because I will answer your question based on my full disclosure, right?
Yeah, so you want to answer that now, but imagine you get comfortable. But imagine you get closer, we get closer and closer. At one point, you'll have to. If I see my timeline, where I'm like, maybe at this point we should have been a little bit close. We've been talking for maybe 6 months, close to a year, and you're not telling me certain stuff. I want to be like, so like I asked you this question, like what's going on? Like, why don't you want to... So, if you tell me, well, I don't feel we're at a spot where we should be telling each other that. I'm like, oh, really? Because me, at this point, I feel this... So then it will come up, you know what I mean?
So it's not something... go based off of the person that demands the most details.
Yeah, because he's asking, I guess you're saying that for you, your full disclosure is, let's say, this deep. Somebody else is going to be like this deep. But it's not that you're withholding information. Yeah, for you,
that's just,
this is just kind of
the person that wants
But at the same time, it's just, I feel like it will just be based on, if I'm asking you something, like, have you ever cheated on somebody? Like,
no.
Well, I wasn't asking you.
That's how
good answer, though. No, but I wasn't asking you. But I was saying that, and then you, let's say you did, but you
cheated or cheated?
Same area code? Same area code? Is that cheating? We're not the same area code. Oh my God. Saying if I cheated in on
technologically cheated or
like emotionally or physically?
So like, let's say if I'm asking you a direct question and you choose because you're not ready, but you choose not to give me information, I think that's when you're messing with the whole full disclosure thing. Like, so if you feel like you're not getting too deep, because for you it's just like the layer, let's say. But then now I'm asking you a question and you're answering, which is something that would technically be in a deeper layer, then you're fine. But then if I'm asking you a question and you're not answering it, then that's when
yeah,
it's
I'll
kind
give
of
you
like,
an answer.
Yeah.
But then 6 months later, I might be like, oh, by the way, there was like a little more.
No.
I
something? I think when we notice that an individual is asking for more, that's when we realize that they're the type of person that they
need more.
They need more. And they disclose
it
more.
means more.
Full disclosure, when a woman
read.
asks you something, she probably already knows
that doesn't
the
mean that
answer.
it can leave. It depends what your answer is to me.
Exactly.
So why would you be afraid?
So,
no.
Yeah.
So
is there something you want to tell us now?
full disclosure, there's nothing to be said. But all I'm saying is like, because of my standards of full disclosure, I don't understand. For me, it's like I have to be at a certain level of like comfort and like security in a relationship.
That you share.
To like open up about everything.
But you could also say, "Hey, I'm not ready to talk about it." Then at least I know that there's
I'm not
more.
ready to talk about it. Exactly.
But if you're completely
Yeah.
directing
Yeah.
the conversation,
But if you're like, no,
did you read this book yet?
let's do it. Yeah.
And
What's a deal breaker? Like,
the full disclosure. So we're talking about full disclosure. So what is the information that the person could reveal that you'll be like, oh,
you did fraud.
I'm out.
You're a drug dealer.
What if I'm not that anymore?
I think we should go on by one for this one.
I just had something to add to that to pour on the question.
Yeah.
Let's say, for example, you used to do drugs before, and you're used to be in cocaine, whatever the case may be, and you're dating the person. And you're dating the person, and the person makes, and you guys, things are great, you're working out to reviewing those things, and you hear her or him say, just an off pass, you're watching a movie about people doing drugs, I can never date somebody that ever did that. Like, I can't do that. Like, I've dated enough people that did that, I don't want any of that in my life. Like, I know guys got over it, and girls, you guys got over it, people got over it before, but just that would be, and they're saying it off cuff, and you're there. What do you know? You know what I mean?
At this point, you're gonna have to bring it up.
That's the
Exactly. And as much as it's like it's messy and like if you don't bring it up then.
By the way,
Also, telling you that we watched that movie and you're saying like that is that's deceptive.
Good answer.
You're gonna need to.
Good answer. So we can pick what
what's for you guys? What is
good question. Yeah.
Let's start with the guys.
cheating.
What? Cheating?
Like
What cheating during or cheating before?
If the girl has a history of cheating, and I see like
a pattern or a 1-2.
Let's say
What she did one time.
she did it one time.
What is one time?
Every man she cheated with, or just one or two.
We'll get to you.
So this is it. If she's like, she has, she's done it a couple of times. I'd ask her, oh, you cheated. Like, how did it happen? Because I want to see what led her to cheat. Now, if she hasn't cheated in a while, but she still has those qualities that leads her to cheat, that for me like hits me as a red flag.
Agreed.
That's good.
What would be a deal breaker for me is not necessarily what you did in the past, because we're starting clean slate, we're talking about it, is if you are letting those things, they're filtering into us, and you're not addressing it, you're not admitting it's an issue. I don't know how we're working through that. Like, let's say, for example, let's take the cheating, for example. You were dating, we talk, we're doing the full disclosure, I found out that I'm boyfriend number 10 and you've cheated with all 9. let's go that extreme.
Yeah.
To me, I'd be like, okay, you know what?
I'm out.
We'll talk about it. Like you said, want to understand what led to that. And now
For 9 times in a row?
whatever the case may be, because Nickayla said they're patterns, right? They're patterns that people make. So let's say your weakness is alcohol, right? When you drink alcohol, you just throw yourself at dudes from, let's say, whatever. Just whatever. Let's say that's the case.
Yeah.
And we know that that's a problem. But then you're going with your girlfriends to bars. You're doing things where you're still around those things. That's a deal breaker for me, because you're not working on the issue.
You're not taking yourself out of it.
That to me is a deal breaker. And before we go, I just wanted to throw in the cheating thing. I was doing Uber. I was driving someone, and she was, I don't remember. All I remember was the question. She was talking to her friend. She's like, I got a question, like, I've been wondering about this, and they're talking. And she's like, so, if you sleep with a guy, you have a boyfriend, but you sleep with a guy, and the sex is not good, is that still considered cheating?
Okay.
Oh my God.
I had to adjust. I look at the windshield, my rear view mirror. I'd be like, I can't believe she just said that. I wanted to turn around and be like, fam, it's cheating. Like it or not, it's cheating.
Yeah. No, it's cheating.
That to me was the most ridiculous thing, but I digress.
Okay.
So what else is a deal breaker?
What's a deal breaker for you, George?
Man, I think cheating. Here's the thing. I don't like to judge people from their past at all. And I think they both bring up like good points. For me, cheating is like I'm gonna need full disclosure. So that one.
She's not ready to talk about that.
She's not ready. She's not comfortable.
Nah, you better be. You better be.
To her full disclosure.
It just happened one time. You don't want to say anything else.
He walked into that one side.
I did. We'll have to negotiate something for that one because I need to understand. Like I'm yet to understand the mind of someone who can cheat, right? But it happens a lot, so there's gotta be a reason.
Yeah.
But then also for me, but I try not to judge people that pass. Like that's why I need this much. I really don't care much. But it's what he says that's a big one. Like if those things that affected you back then are still an issue now, we need to address it.
Yeah.
Because like I find like a lot of relationships get so toxic because of past things brought into current relationship, and you're like what did I have to do that? Like why am I suffering through this?
Yeah.
And it's something that we can work through it if you're willing, because you can't change someone. You can't. They gotta be willing to do that for themselves. And if they're not doing that, to me, it's really a deal breaker. How you past affects you now, and if you're trying to change it or not. Sure. That to me is just. But cheating, we need to.
Full disclosure. That one, so it changes.
I feel like it's the same thing. Also, like I agree with both of your points. I feel like the same thing. Like I'm not gonna judge somebody with their past, but obviously if that's not something you're working on and it's still affecting us, and that's a problem. But also if it's somebody that had a kid and didn't tell you, because why are you not mentioning? If you're not ready for me to meet your child because you don't know how strong we are, then that's one thing. But if you have a full-on baby out there and I'm not aware of it, then that's a problem.
That's good.
You don't like anything about that.
You don't like problems.
Full disclosure on that one.
I don't know. Like cheating thing. Obviously, if you have a kid and didn't tell me, that's
There's the door.
But is having a kid?
No,
it's not. That's just hiding a whole.
Hiding a whole kid. That's ridiculous. Or if you don't pay for your children or whatever.
Oh yes.
Child support. That, do you know how many
No, because
it's true. It's true.
It's true.
What do you mean? What makes me different that we will not have children and you're gonna pay for my children? I mean, if we're married, anyways.
Yeah.
Oh man, if somebody said that they were charged for like something like rape.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Especially anything like pedophile or anything like that.
Oh,
For sure.
Yeah. That is.
Things women have to consider that. We don't cross our mind. Yes, true.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe in the blood of Jesus, so you know what I'm saying. I do, but that's something I would have to really
think,
and I had to pray about that. Like that would just be.
And you're just working through it. How do
I
you
agree.
Work through,
Yeah,
How
exactly.
do you work through that situation that's presented to you?
Exactly, but then that situation can't be presented to me after 2 years of being with you.
Very true.
By the way,
what if he
I have this charge and I did this.
What if he says this?
What?
He says, "Old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new." No, and he says, "What is the definition of love? It keeps no records of wrongs."
That's good. I won't keep record. I will just think about it and decide, and then the
But
record
that's
is
why I
done.
didn't tell you 2 years.
In 2 years we're together. You need to think.
But there's no record.
Bye.
No, I was playing.
I know.
I'm playing devil's advocate because some people do.
Yeah.
They do say that kind of stuff. I know. That would just be. I would. Anyways, we'd have to be up, and the Lord would really have to be working in that relationship. We'd have to, because no. Oof, oh,
Yeah, no.
That's a lot of stuff.
That's too much.
That's a lot to handle.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to work through these things.
Yeah.
For me, everything that everyone said, but me it depends. It depends on the situation. So I'm very big on loyalty.
Oh,
So for me that is like even in my friendships, everything, it's very high up. So for me, it's like anything where I feel that you're not being loyal to me, or like something, and we talk about it and I just feel like, nah, that for me is a deal breaker. Addiction, in the sense that I want you to have, I don't want to find out 2 years in that you were a sex addict and you didn't tell me.
Were or
you know?
Or he was a sex addict.
Because sex addict, you could fall back into it. So it would have, like you said, it will have to be so. The stuff that made you kind of always want sex, did you remove that from your life, or was it? And what is it a specific situation where, so if we have money with trouble, like problems with money, does like, and you feel maybe like less of a man if I have to be, there's a lot of stuff that play into why he's like goes and creates sex or stuff like that. I want that full disclosure, even if it was. I used to do cocaine or heroin. I still want that full disclosure. Or gambling. Stuff. Those are, because for me, it's like, those are the kind of stuff that kind of scare me. It's like, you have an addiction. Like, I just want to know that you had the time and took the steps to fully nip it in the bud, basically.
Right.
And like, you're in the process, I don't know. Those are my deal breakers for me.
If you don't want kids.
Oh, yeah, for me, if you don't want kids, that's a deal breaker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a deal breaker for me, too.
This list is getting bigger.
I know. No, that's a deal breaker for me, too.
No, for me, it's a deal breaker. If you come and tell me...
I would tell you that I want kids right from the get-go.
You're not talking about it. So if you tell me I don't...
Or if you don't want to get married.
Then why are we even together? If you don't want to get married, why are we together?
What are we doing?
The only time I will entertain the conversation of you saying that no kids is if you can't have kids, or we just broke and we can't afford to have kids right now. Okay. That I can entertain.
That's different though.
But that's
different.
That's what you want to have kids.
You want to have kids
right now. They desire to want to have kids.
Yeah. So I do not want kids. So
yeah. Oh, no. Oh, do not want kids at all. All right. I got you guys. No, I hate that.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I can change.
If you don't want kids,
you're not gonna.
And you know that? No. Good for you.
And don't.
I'm not saying you should have children. Good. Don't have kids.
There
are a lot of people. There are a lot of kids in the world that their parents. You know what I'm saying? That's too much.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Me, I want kids. So
I'm sorry.
Me too, man. You can hashtag me too. No, but I'm serious. No, I didn't mean it in that way. Not in that way.
Hashtag me too is only one hashtag now, so it is.
I know that's.
Man, I need to catch up. I need to catch up with the time. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. I like. Yes, me too. I want to have a kid.
Oh, okay.
Like, me too. I want to have a kid.
You can't say me too just like that, huh?
Oh, yeah. No, me too. I want to have a kid. That's what I meant.
Okay. So I have two questions left, but I want to put them together.
Okay.
So how important is money in a relationship, and in a marriage? Do you guys believe in having separate accounts or joint accounts?
I believe in having my own account as well as a joint one. So like a joint one for like the kids stuff, the household stuff, and whatnot. And in my own personal one, like if I want to buy something, I don't want my husband to be like, oh, like, why are you buying this? Well, it's my hard-earned money, so I can buy it if I want to. Obviously, if it's something ridiculous that like I'm draining our bank account and now I'm going to go take money from the joint account, that doesn't make any sense. But I would have my own individual one and then have a joint account for like the trips, the kids, yada yada.
Yeah.
Can you have a different income stream? So let's say in your personal account, like you have a side business, but your side business is good, So like you're rolling in like you have 500K in your personal account, but in your joint account it's just like 100K. Like, is that okay in a relationship? And you guys
it all depends on what kind of goals you have that you're working on. Like, let's say we're working on buying a house, and then the only thing you're contributing is $1,000, but you have 500K in your bank account.
But like the $1,000 is enough, but you just want to keep.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if
you just want to keep,
it's based on your goals. Like, whatever your goals are, if you with the money that you're putting, if it's 1,000, it's reaching those goals. I think that's fine.
Okay.
It would depend. For me, it would depend. That money you're saying, like, it's my personal money. So if something like we need to do something for like one of the kids,
and you're like, no.
And then we can't get from the person, we can't get it from like the joint account. So I'm like, if you're like, nah, I can't use it, like that, then that's an issue. You know what I mean? Or just say there's a family problem, but I don't want to touch like the joint account that's for the kids. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so I could afford to do this. Like technically our families, because we were married, families right together, right? So my mom is going through this, like she's having surgery. Do you mind if we combine together and go? So it's like I have my personal account, but it's not my personal account. Because I still have to think of my husband, my kids, like our future together. So it's like a personal account. Just kind of like, I don't know. I still want to be my own. Like if I want to surprise my husband, I'm not going to go take from the account and he's going to see, what did you take $200 out for? Then you have to kind of lie and then it's just going to then he's going to maybe think like, is she doing something? Like it just cuts problems having just personal accounts and just surprising each other throughout like the marriage. And that's how I see it.
I agree. You need to have both. I think it's important to have both. You can have a joint account, family savings, paying the bills, taking care of certain things that you do together, and then a personal account, your discretionary. Hey, what if I want to buy this? I want to do this. I want to do that. I have money that's in there that's in my account for that, because what can happen sometimes is, let's say you overspend on something, and your spouse wants to now pay a bill, but you overspent. The account is now getting into the point of overdraft. Now there's that conversation like, you overspent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now now we gotta pay for this bill, we gotta do this, but you overspent. So that creates a whole conversation that would be there unless you had a personal account.
Okay, that's true.
So I'm all for having both.
And as long as that personal
I
account.
think he thinks different.
Very different.
Oh yeah?
Join it all together.
Yeah, so ideally, like for me, I think it's good. I mean, you're getting married. You're sharing everything. And the reason why, apparently, according to these studies and stuff like that, the number one thing that causes divorce is money. Right? True. And a lot of people actually do have separate accounts. And a lot of these discussions come up because that person is spending like this person is spending like this, our need is like this, blah, 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 blah. So there's a lot of full disclosures that don't happen when it comes to the financial aspects of things. And, if you're opening like credit cards, sometimes some people are like, I have nothing in my personal one. Let me just get a credit card, whatever. 5 years later, you hear, your husband has $10,000 in debt.
That's an issue of communication,
right?
But you can also have a personal account, because it also depends if you have a personal account, but does my husband know how much I have in my account?
So that's what I'm saying.
Now that raises the topic of communication.
Yeah. And, we're human. Yes. I think the human aspect also has to come in place, because sometimes you're like, I want that shoe. He does not want me to buy that. Or I want that toy, and I know she doesn't want me to buy that. And then the human aspect is like, now you're battling within yourself, like, if I take out a line of credit, she won't know my personal account, and then I can just pay it off for time, And like these things like happen in a lot of relationships.
Now you're lying to your partner.
No, because she ain't asking me. Like, and these are the things that cause divorce.
I'll say this to you. I don't mean to interject because I deal with individuals and clients that have this type of issues, and it boils down to this. It's a question of communicating that this is what's going on. If an individual has, because they'll sit in my office, and they'll be back and forth, and what is laid out on the plate is the issue of, we were not communicating that this is happening. I get the point of view you're trying to say. If she has her line of credit, she has her personal account, or he has whatever, they could easily spend, not let you know, because you said they know you don't want them to have that particular item, right? So they're hiding it in secrecy and paying it. But at the end of the day, it boils down to what solves that issue, personal account, joint or not, is communicating. Like, look, I know you don't want me to have this, but this is what I did, and this is my debts.
So I think, to me, to avoid all of this, if you're gonna know what she's doing in her personal, this and that, blah blah blah, just combine them all. You get your paychecks; they all come in. I think beginning of the month, you budget out because you know what you're making. You sit down, you budget out. You're like, you're paying this, and that. This is left over. What do you need for this month? I need like $500 to shop. Okay, can we afford that? Yeah, all right. You got your $500. And like,
but don't you think fights will happen? Because then just see joint accounts, and then my money comes in, your money comes in, and then we're budgeting. I'm like, oh well, I need like $1,000 to go shopping. Yeah. And then you're like, well, what do you need $1,000 for? Well, it's my money, right? Just take it out of my income.
Yeah. So
you see the social problems that could come in.
To me, I think it's like when you're married, it's not like my. We're all just contributing to this.
But like you said, we're human, so that's still gonna pop
so the human part of it.
You're making
the human part of it, like accountability comes in when someone can see. Like for example, I spend a lot less when my parents are around, right? Because there's that accountability where they're like, "Why are you spending all this stuff?"
I got a
right?
question for you on that note. Because I personally, to me, I agree with Mia. It doesn't solve the core issue because, let's say, for example, she doesn't want to argue with you about overspending the joint account. Nothing stops her from when she's shopping at Walmart. Do you want a Walmart MasterCard? Gee, you know what? Why not? Grabs it. You don't even need to know about that. You don't know about that credit card.
Yeah.
She can use it and purchase what she wants.
But to pay for it, it'll have to come from her joint account. So I'll be able to know that there's some money going out.
But then here's the thing, though. The thing about human nature is when you want to make something happen and get something done, you can get it done. If she says, okay, you know what? I got to pay for this credit card. I still don't want him to know. She could easily open a checking account. She could easily go to her job and say, okay, this portion of my contributions that you put in my TFSA, please send it to this account. The point of the matter is if an attitude of communication and honesty is not fostered in the relationship or in the marriage, you can have all the joint accounts you want. There are things that especially in the financial aspect, if the issue is not dealt with, would not communicate to you.
I don't disagree.
Because there are people in that situation that come in for counseling and then they have all joint accounts, but the wife or the husband has been hiding debts for years. Yeah. And there's a lot of issues behind that. So whether or not it's joint or personal or whatever the case may be, you're still not attacking the main issue. It's still communication.
So communication is 100%. Because even for me, like when you're budgeting, a lot of that is communicating. Like communicating the needs, the wants, and the goals for the future, right? Because you're a team and like you're building towards something. So when we bring our money together, like we gotta be able to sit down and figure this out. I think if everything is brought to one, and you guys sit there and you're able to actually just like, in a logical way, divvy up whatever money you have to whatever needs and wants that you both feel that you walk away from the table, you're like, you know what, I'm good. I don't need to buy that $40,000 truck. I'm okay driving the $2,000 Civic because now we're able to get, to accomplish the goal that we both kind of sat out and, established as a couple, right? Yeah. So for me, it's like, with joint accounts, and separate accounts, it's all kind of the same thing, right? Joint account just has a bit more accountability that decreases a human factor of, okay, I can just do this without him knowing, right? Because you can do it either way. You can do it either way. You can be deceptive with your spouse, whether you want to or not. Yeah. But I feel like that joint account adds that layer of accountability that I think a lot of relationships would have benefited from if they actually took time monthly, bi-weekly to actually sit down and budget together. Because I know some people who do like, the guy doesn't spend much. So he spends like $100 a month, if that, right? So he's like, okay, just give me $100, that will cover my occasional coffee, whatever. Her, she has a bit more, like her hair, this and that, so she has like $300-400 that he has really no idea how she spends it, but he knows that that's what she needs to be comfortable within this relationship to still do her own thing, right? And sometimes like he will spend $20 and have $80 left, and he'd be like, hey babe, here's the 80, right? So for me, it's like with that joint account and you sit down, you budget, you talk about it, I think communication is so fluid, like there's no room, like, and you're comfortable enough to talk to your spouse about.
I promise you one thing, because the people that carry that theory have hidden debts and are coming for counseling because of hidden debts. Because the theory makes perfect. No, I'm being honest. The theory makes perfect sense, and you struck a chord when you said it creates a fluidity of accountability. I agree with you 100%. But when we're talking about when you're talking about human nature and certain core issues that go beyond that, you need to. That is the core, whether you have a joint account or not. One thing that could also work is if you have a personal account, is all your pay, your stuff goes in the joint account. You split out your allowances. Hey, this is mine, I'm taking out of it, and that's how I'm spending it in that account. At least you know, bi-weekly when you structure your budgets, $500, she's taking it, she's spending it, however she's spending it, that's her allowance.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you just have to sit down. To me, it's like,
you just budgeting out.
So you can have a joint account where both incomes come, and then you can have separate ones where it's kind of like this is where your allowance is going, and this is where.
No, he's like budgeting in. Yeah.
Okay,
that's
so
fine.
Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't care much to have a personal one,
account,
right?
Yeah.
If I want to buy my wife a gift, I'll be like, Zishu, buy it. I'll send you the money. It is what it is. Once she gets the gift, I'll be like, Zishu, buy the gift, and then once she gets it, I'll send you the money. And I'm good for it, So I think it's like I know what that accountability for me can do for me because I know how much I'd probably be the spender in the relationship. To be honest. Yeah. So I know that I would spend a lot less when someone is looking.
But that's what I was saying. Like even if you have, because you can have like your bank account information like online where you have multiple accounts. So you could have a joint account, and I could have my personal. You have your personal, so you could still see what's going on in mine. If you have any questions or like whatever it is, like. And I don't know if like for the people, as including myself, who said that they want to have a personal account, are you okay now with your significant other knowing how much you have in your personal account?
Yeah.
So then,
for me, so you can know. Why are you trying to hide? Why are you trying
to
hide? What's this? What are you trying to hide?
What happens if one of the party becomes compromised? Let's say one of the party gains a gambling addiction, right? And now they start deeping into the joint accounts.
But you will see it.
But you will see it.
But now, let's say they finish the joint accounts. But now, like, the responsible party is using their private money to keep the whole house afloat, so like paying for the children and stuff. But now that they can see the amounts of the private account, it becomes a source for them to like, how can I get to this money?
Yeah. So to finish up, I'm going to allow you guys to say your last thing about the topic. Do the girls want to start? The guys.
Yeah. The guys.
It's the ladies first.
Nickayla?
So what? What am I saying?
So just like closing up, like your closing arguments, or
I have no closing arguments.
I'll
just whatever they say, then I will. If they say something that I don't agree with, then I will say something back. But if I agree, then I'll just say yes.
Let's let the men speak.
Dating new versus old. I think it's important to keep in mind that there were certain ways that the older generation used in terms of dating and getting to know someone. At the same time, we have to realize that we're now in a technological advanced world. And technology has a big part to play. So the playing field is different, but we shouldn't forget like those core values of like open communication, real communication that the old generation had. At the same time, technology is technology. Like you're still gonna have Instagram, man's is still gonna slide into your girl's DMs. But like at least now, listen, block it. Not about that.
So I'm with you all the way. I'm old-fashioned in the sense that I believe in taking those olden day values, and permeating them into your life currently.
Yeah.
For example, if you have the standards that are then, you permeate them now. Saying no to that DM or disclosing to your man or your girl like, hey, this homie keeps hitting me up, so you know, and I've told him to, you know what I'm saying? So you have those boundaries, you have those standards. Full disclosure. Exactly. So that's how I see it. Alright, homie, floor is yours.
Yes.
How big?
Full disclosure.
Which is how big?
How deep are we going?
If you cheat, you gotta give everything. Like if you're within the normal range.
So your disclosure is fluid. It changes based on the situation.
Based on the situation.
Yeah. If you cheat, like you gotta say what happened. To me, that's the one that you just like.
Yeah, actually, that's all I need to know. That's why I need to know. I don't even want to know his name.
Yeah, because there's certain things that I think will reveal someone's character. If in that mistake that they made, you need to learn like what brought them there, how they got out of it. If they see they're wrong, sometimes people do wrong things and you still kind of like, I don't think they get it. They apologize. We see it all the time on TV. Oh, I'm sorry, I did this, and that. You're like, wow, your PR wrote that. Like, you do not mean what you're saying, But for me, I think relationships were the same back then. Today, the same core concepts, fundamentals apply. I think you just have to use, modern day technology for your advantage. It has a lot of bad things that it has brought about, but think it's it's a matter of choice, to be honest. And I think one of the biggest things is to also have an older person that you can trust, who will be able to tell you like it is. I have that now. They were in my life before, but I never really took that step to involve them in my day to day details that I would tell you guys. But you realize, like, even though it was back then that they experienced what they did, they just give a whole different perspective that kind of give you an awakening to whatever situation you're going through. So I just feel like a lot of these things that we talk about, it's all the core of it is all the same. Yeah. Back then and today, just how we go about it is a little different. But I think people just need to keep talking and reminding each other, the right ways to do these things. You can differ on different things like disclosure and personal accounts, but those are very on the surface things. If you don't have communication, like you guys are talking about trust and all that, down packed. So
I feel like for all the topics that we talked about, communication is very important. So full disclosure, the accounts, even what are, in terms of older generation and current generation, if you discuss what are your values within those relationships in general, or your dating values, I think if you're very open with the person right from the start, we were kind of saying, okay, when is it good to give that full disclosure? But at the same time, if I'm talking about it right from the beginning and we're having a conversation, and I'm not saying I'm sitting you down and be like, okay, well, in 1992 I did this, but if you are having a conversation, they even have these games that you play, you make it fun, right? The game night with these cards and you ask questions and whatnot, having just open communications in different areas of your dating life or your personal life or whatnot, I think really helps out, and it just kind of all goes on to the same.
I agree with you on that. I think everything's communication, and whatever's in the dark is going to come out into the light, so you better say it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and so... and I feel like...
Not right away, but...
There's a problem.
Not
right away. You see, this is what I don't understand. But anyways, in general, I'm not saying I'm going to meet someone and be like...
You will feel it. You will know when it's right.
Yeah.
And know when the person is comfortable. You'll know when the person is comfortable with hearing and receiving that information, as well as when they want to give that information. So both parties have to be in tune with each other.
Exactly. So I'm not going to demand a bunch of information, or I'm not saying people should, but I think people should be able to say, don't withhold information.
Yeah.
Right, George?
Very true.
I learned something.
No, I think with all the topics, I think it's just having an open communication no matter what, from the get-go. And it's not, especially I think the whole thing comes down to full disclosure. I think it was kind of involved in every topic. It's more just being open, and I would say to specifically girls to protect their hearts, in the sense that know when to give your full disclosure, because I do believe us women, we do face a lot of stuff that it could be trauma, and this why we act a certain way towards men before we let our guard down. And I'm not saying just women, you men might have that too, but I think it's very important for a woman to truly protect her heart in every relationship she goes to, and know when to fully just basically be not physically naked, but to be naked in front. You know what I mean? Just to be your true self in front of a guy. Just know what to do. So I would just say honestly, from all this, for women, protect your heart, and for men and female, to just communication, talk, have conversations, have that communication open all the time. So that's what I would say.
And be bold.
Yeah. So thank you all you guys for coming. I think we had a good discussion. It was a good topic, and we'll probably tackle something else next time.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
You did walk on that.
You know what?
Yeah.
I feel like that was
If you just enjoyed the last episode of Be Bold, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. We want to hear from you and get the word out there, because others want to hear from you and from us as well. Be bold.